Imagine waking up to discover that billions of dollars had disappeared overnight, not through explosions, gunfights, or hacking, but through plans so brilliant that the world's strongest security systems never saw them coming. These are the biggest heists in history, and each one is more unbelievable than the last. One robbery emptied a vault everyone believed was impossible to breach. Another fooled investigators for years. And the final heist involved nearly $1 billion, making it one of the biggest cash robberies in history. Stay until the end, because number one changes everything. Throughout history, empires have risen and fallen, but some criminals left behind legends just as unforgettable. These weren't ordinary thieves. They were patient masterminds who studied every weakness, every routine, and every human mistake before making their move. Every fortress has one hidden weakness. Sometimes it isn't the steel door, the cameras, or even the armed guards. Sometimes the biggest vulnerability is something so ordinary that nobody notices it, until millions have already disappeared without leaving obvious clues behind. Our countdown begins with a robbery so carefully planned that investigators spent years piecing together what actually happened. The criminals didn't overpower security, they outsmarted it. And once you see how they did it, you'll understand why this case became legendary. In 2005, an ordinary-looking building in Brazil quietly became the center of one of history's greatest robberies. From the outside, nothing seemed unusual. But beneath the streets, a secret operation had already been unfolding for months, completely invisible to everyone above. The group cleverly disguised themselves as a landscaping business. To neighbors, they appeared to be hard-working contractors. But behind closed doors, every shovel of dirt brought them closer to one target: a vault containing an unimaginable fortune waiting beneath the city. For nearly 3 months, they dug an incredible tunnel stretching almost 80 meters beneath the city. Every section was carefully reinforced with wood, equipped with lights and ventilation, allowing them to work in complete secrecy without attracting the slightest suspicion from anyone above ground. Finally, the moment arrived. Instead of attacking the bank from the front, they broke through the vault floor itself, completely bypassing cameras, alarms, guards, and thick steel entrances. It was a direction that security planners had barely considered at all. By sunrise, approximately $70 million in cash had vanished. Authorities were stunned, not only by the enormous loss, but by the precision of the entire operation. Yet one question remained unanswered. How did such a massive team stay hidden for so long? As investigators reconstructed the crime, they realized this wasn't a last-minute robbery. It was a masterpiece of patience. Every tunnel measurement, every work schedule, and every escape route had been calculated long before the first dollar disappeared. But the story wasn't over yet. Although several suspects were eventually identified, much of the stolen money was never recovered. To this day, the Banco Central Burglary remains one of history's most extraordinary examples of planning defeating powerful security. But number two raised the stakes even higher. If stealing millions of dollars sounds impossible, imagine walking away with one of the world's largest collections of diamonds. Deep beneath the streets of Belgium stood a vault so secure that experts believed it could never be defeated. They were wrong. The mastermind behind this operation wasn't interested in speed. For years, he quietly studied the building, learned employee routines, and gained the trust of people around him. Every ordinary day secretly became another step toward an extraordinary crime. The vault was protected by multiple layers of security: advanced alarms, motion detectors, magnetic sensors, combination locks, and reinforced steel protecting it. So instead of fighting the system, the thieves decided to outthink every single layer protecting it. The thieves didn't rush inside. Instead, they quietly neutralized each security layer one at a time. Every move had been rehearsed countless times. What looked impossible to security experts slowly became possible through patience, precision, and almost unbelievable attention to detail. When the vault finally opened, rows of safety deposit boxes filled with priceless diamonds, jewelry, gold, and rare gemstones stretched before them. Within hours, valuables worth an estimated $100 million had disappeared into the darkness without a single shot fired. The next morning, investigators couldn't believe what they were seeing. The vault itself showed almost no signs of forced entry. It looked as though the thieves had simply walked through security, as if they already knew every secret hidden inside. Ironically, the criminals came incredibly close to escaping forever. But after the robbery, one small mistake left behind evidence that investigators eventually connected to the mastermind. Even then, much of the stolen treasure was never recovered, keeping the mystery alive to this day. If bypassing one of the world's most secure diamond vaults sounds unbelievable, then prepare yourself for number one. This final heist didn't just steal unimaginable wealth, it exposed weaknesses so shocking that governments and security experts were forced to rethink everything they believed. Before sunrise on a tense morning in 2003, a convoy arrived at one of the most heavily guarded buildings in Iraq. There were no explosions, no masked gunmen, and no dramatic chase. Yet within hours, history's biggest cash heist had quietly begun. The guards didn't question the visitors. No alarm sounded, no emergency lockdown was triggered. Everything seemed completely authorized, making the operation look less like a robbery and more like an ordinary government transfer. That illusion fooled almost everyone. Then, investigators uncovered an astonishing detail. The entire operation was reportedly carried out using a handwritten order delivered just before major military action began. That single document opened doors that even the world's most skilled criminals could never have forced open. Inside the vault, employees worked for hours, loading enormous amounts of cash into waiting vehicles. Bundle after bundle disappeared until the total approached an unbelievable $920 million, making it one of the largest cash robberies the world had ever witnessed. By the time the world realized what had happened, the money had already vanished. Investigators from multiple countries launched massive recovery efforts, but recovering such an extraordinary amount proved far more difficult than anyone had imagined. The biggest mystery was still waiting ahead. As investigators traced the missing fortune, an incredible truth emerged. Large portions of the money had already been scattered across different locations before recovery teams could react. Every passing hour reduced the chances of finding the full amount, turning the search into a global race. Authorities eventually recovered a significant portion of the stolen cash, yet hundreds of millions of dollars remained unaccounted for, fueling endless speculation. Even today, people continue asking the same question: could part of the world's biggest cash heist still be missing forever? Unlike most legendary robberies, this heist didn't rely on cracking impossible vaults or defeating advanced technology. Instead, it revealed a surprising reality. Sometimes the greatest weakness isn't the security system itself, but the authority trusted to control it. From hidden tunnels beneath busy streets to priceless diamonds protected by cutting-edge security, and finally, nearly $1 billion leaving under official authorization. Each heist proved the same unforgettable lesson. Intelligence and planning can exploit weaknesses that force alone never could. The biggest heists in history weren't won by the strongest people. They were planned by those who understood systems, routines, and human behavior better than anyone else. And perhaps that's the most chilling mystery of all. Every perfect system still has a hidden weakness. The greatest lesson from history's biggest heists isn't how much money was stolen. It's that no security system is truly perfect. Technology can be upgraded, vaults can be strengthened, but human planning, patience, and overlooked weaknesses will always remain the biggest challenge. If you enjoyed uncovering history's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you never miss our next countdown. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring the world's greatest untold stories.